With cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin hitting all-time highs seemingly every day, a lot of crypto investors are finding themselves increasingly and incredibly wealthy. But a lot of them are also realizing that as governments around the world want to find new ways to tax and even confiscate their crypto, they need a backup plan. And for me, having a second citizenship is one of the best ways to ensure that your crypto holdings are not only legal, but they are yours to keep, out of the hands of governments with ever-rising tax rates. Today, I'm going to give you my perspective on the best second citizenships for crypto investors. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson, and here at Nomad Capitalist, we help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs legally go where you're treated best with our team of over 30 people, our network of global experts. You can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. And having helped hundreds of folks legally move overseas, reduce their taxes, get second citizenships to protect themselves, and even to divorce their government, what I've learned is that for the folks we work with that are crypto investors, crypto traders, the philosophy is different, and I'll explain why. For crypto, it's all about opportunity cost. I've talked about a number of different people who have come to me who have sold businesses. They're holding money in dollars, euros, what have you. They want to get a second citizenship. I've talked about one gentleman who had about $50 million in the bank, and he was still trying to figure out what to do with all of it, right? Because he had just sold a company. He had all this money now. And so he was kind of slowly starting to invest, but he says, listen, if I can invest somewhere and get a second passport, even if the interest rate is zero, I will take that because I've got cash in the bank right now. And so we talked about the St. Lucia bond option, where you can reduce the donation on St. Lucia dramatically by putting your money in 0% bonds. We talked about the Turkish passport with its real estate options, or just even putting $500,000 in the bank. We talked about other residence and citizenship programs like that, where you're basically just moving your money from one part of the ledger to the other. But the problem is, if you're in crypto, unlike this gentleman, you're not planning for a 0% return. I have many people now who are telling me that they think Bitcoin will be $100,000, even $500,000. I've never seen so much excitement, and I've seen a lot of excitement. And so in that case, opportunity cost really reigns supreme. Now, I'm going to give you my thoughts on passports for crypto investors. I'm not going to talk about what happens after you get the passport, from residence to tax residence to all that. If you want to hear more about crypto passports and crypto strategies, leave a comment below so I know that you're interested. So opportunity cost does reign supreme. And so I look at the cheapest way to get a second passport potentially is citizenship by descent. So you have a parent, grandparent, great-grandparent from another country. If it's a parent, that may be pretty quick. And so I have a number of people in my team who have parents who are from some other country. They can get that passport. That may not take that long. However, with the current state of the world and the pandemic, a lot of embassies are closed, and we're seeing processes that should be relatively quick where they're just suspended. Can't do it. Can't help you. Sorry. And so that can be an issue. Other citizenship by descent programs, if it's through a grandparent or through a great-grandparent, could take longer. Countries like Italy, Greece, notoriously are very long. Spain isn't exactly short. A lot of the citizenship by descent programs take a while. And so from my perspective, what I have people often coming to me is Americans saying, Andrew, my crypto's out of control. I had $500,000 a year ago. Now it's almost $2 million. I want to renounce my citizenship before I trigger this exit tax at $2 million. And so you may not have time to wait around for something like that. If it's going to take a year once the embassy reopens, then you may not have time for that, even though it's cheapest. So if you can get citizenship by descent quickly, then the cost, the practically zero opportunity cost, is great. Okay. Naturalization also has a very low opportunity cost. You can get residence in another country, sometimes live there, sometimes you don't have to live there. You can apply for citizenship 2, 3, 5 years, whatever. One of the fastest citizenships is in Argentina, and I don't think if I'm a crypto investor I want to tie myself to that country. There are other countries that we work with. You can get citizenship in 2 or 3 years, but again, if you are a crypto person, things change very quickly, and I think waiting 2 or 3 years may not be ideal. Now, if you're not an American and you're living in a place that's pretty tax friendly, then maybe citizenship by descent, if you have it, maybe naturalization. could be a good way to get citizenship because you're not as much in a hurry. But if you've got a tax issue, you need to move more quickly. And so I think that what I generally will recommend to someone in the crypto space is the most cost-efficient citizenship by investment, which would be in the Caribbean. I'm not going to do Vanuatu. Malta obviously has a very high opportunity cost at $1 million plus. But I'm going to look in the Caribbean, and I'm going to figure out, how important is it that this person, or how likely is it that a certain person might go and live in their country, right? Do you want the ability to live there and have a good tax laws, or do you just want to be a citizen of that country and go and live somewhere else? What kind of countries do I want visa-free travel to, especially if I'm going to be giving up my current citizenship? Where is it I want to be going? So, some Caribbean citizenships offer visa-free to Russia and Eastern Europe. I know folks in the crypto space, they're like the dating scene in those places, or they have employees or business partners in that part of the world, programmers, whatever it may be. So, that might dictate which passport I get. Maybe you want to live in a certain part of the world or travel around a certain part of the world. That might dictate it. Again, the tax-free status, if you actually live in the country, would dictate it. But generally speaking, the speed and relatively low cost of spending maybe $130,000, maybe $175,000 if needed, is going to be where I'm going to be. Because once you have that second passport, in our case, we're putting together documentation for citizenship by investment pretty quickly for people that we work with. Then you file it. St. Kitts and Nevis, if you pay $175,000 for one person, you get a 2-month rush process, 60 days. We might do the math, and we might figure out, if you don't expatriate, or if you don't leave your country, or whatever, and the other process at a regular speed takes 3.5 months, what's the value of that 1.5 months based on where crypto is going, based on your trading income, and so what's the income tax until you leave, or how likely is your net worth to rise? We might look at that, and it might be worth paying extra, money to increase, or to it might be worth paying more to be able to get out faster. But generally, we've been seeing faster approvals in the Caribbean, even during the pandemic. So unlike things that are for free, the governments that are offering something by investment are actually speeding up and digitalizing and improving the process. And so I would try and look at some of the cheapest options in the Caribbean. Again, just because if you spend an extra, $25,000 or $50,000, who knows? I mean, that could be $500,000 at some point in the near future, if crypto, goes crazy. And so I'm looking to minimize opportunity cost. One thing that some people in crypto will come to me and say is, I've got $25 million in Bitcoin. I'm going to take $5 million of that off the table. And so now that opportunity cost becomes less important. So what a number of people have said to me is, let me take some of my holdings off the table just to, secure it into some precious metals, a little bit of, fiat currency. Let me buy some real estate, start to create my homes, right? Especially if you're going to be leaving a country like the United States, maybe you want to buy a few homes. And so that's when I would start to look at, all right, some people have told me they actually like the idea of living in Istanbul or having a home in Istanbul or just investing in Istanbul. And so if you buy a property for $250, let's call it $300,000, just so you can get a good deal and still get the appraisal. You can basically resell that asset in 3 years, and you've had very little sunk cost compared to the Caribbean. So I would look at a program like that. I would look at other programs where I could buy real estate or buy government bonds and get a citizenship pretty quickly. Again, St. Lucia's bond option could be an example. Potentially some crypto people occasionally say, now that I've done well with crypto, I want to start a business, or I'm going to start a crypto-related business. And so there's some countries you could go, and potentially if it's big enough, you could get a citizenship by doing that, by hiring people, by creating value in the economy. Generally speaking, those are not things that I would recommend for a crypto investor unless you're taking money off the table. But basically, you've got the one track where you're continuing to accumulate, you're continuing to hodl, you're continuing to keep as much in crypto as you can, and so that's where I'm trying to peel off, let's call it 100 to 130 grand, unless you're just doing trading and you're just making so much money trading where the income tax needs to be reduced, in which case I might look at the St. Kitts option because it's maybe a month and a half faster. Other than that, the most important thing I would do for any citizenship by investment is make sure I'm working with someone who's doing as much of the legwork and the bureaucracy for me in preventing problems and by being proactive, because I've seen people in the crypto space. You heard Heidi, the crypto chick on our channel not so long ago, saying it took her about a year. I think, quite frankly, for many crypto people with the current market conditions, that's too long. I would look at how do I get this done in 6 months or less by being extremely efficient and being extremely proactive. And so that's where I think a lot of people are going to suffer when they go with kind of the discount guy on the island who is on island time, and you're going to lose 3 months just collecting paperwork and answering questions from the commission because you didn't address them up front. That's perhaps another big issue. And quite frankly, 3 months in the crypto space could cost someone a lot of money. So that's definitely an issue. Again, if you're taking chips off the table, look at real estate, look at bond options, look at business options. That's what I would advise for a crypto investor. I think a Caribbean citizenship by investment is, quite frankly, perfectly good. I have a number of folks who have given up their U.S. citizenship to become St. Lucian or citizens of St. Kitts or Antigua, whatever the case may be. And they haven't really suffered. They haven't really seen an issue. If they want access back into the U.S., there's other ways we can work towards that, or even just apply for a visa. But in terms of the quality of the passports, I think any of the Caribbean passports, I think Turkey, I think you could pair those with residence permits and you'd be perfectly well off. They're best for crypto investors because they keep more of your cash in crypto active for future gains. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.